So I get the pleasure of being out in the field today with Mackenzie Perry from Siusla Middle School and the Stream team. And we are out just south of town collecting bug samples, looking for animal tracks, collecting footage from the webcam, the trail cams. And we have another group of students who are doing some bird watching. How exciting! All right, so we're out in the field right now with Mackenzie Perry on one of the Stream team visits. Mrs. Perry, can you share a little bit about what the Stream team is, how long the middle school has been involved in this program, and what are we doing right now?
So Stream team started actually probably close to 30 years ago. I was a Stream team kid when I was in 7th grade as well.
Are you born and raised from this area?
I am.
Okay.
Very proudly. My teacher, Mr. Grano, is actually still doing this with us. He actually started Stream team back in the day, and he's retired now, but he's out leading a group right now talking about the forest.
And we have four different trips going on today.
We've got a forest group of 5 kids, we've got a mammal group of another 5 kids, and a bird group out with 4 kids, and then I've got my bug group here that has a few absences with just 3 kids. We're doing some bugs and water quality here.
Okay.
Stream team is pretty much all about learning about the outdoors and environmental education and all of this fun stuff, and we get to go on lots of field trips. So let's learn how to collect some macros, okay? What we're gonna do is, will you guys take these trays down to the water and fill them as full as you can while still being able to bring them up here. Spilled water is not a big deal out here. These are D-nuts. They have to be this way, where you see how they have extra fabric on the backside. Yeah. Always keep that extra fabric out. You don't want to use them when they're inside out. We scoop with these in the water. The bugs, what do the bugs eat, do you think?
Other bugs.
Other bugs? Plants, dead plants. So if we are gonna find bugs, that's where we're gonna find them. We're not gonna just find them floating in the water. They're gonna be along the ground or along the banks where there's stuff for them to eat. And so, Michael, listen closely how I do this, and then I'll have you test it out. So when you're scooping for the bugs, you always have to keep scooping forward so that you don't lose them and accidentally let them wash out of your net. And then we sort of just bump the net along the bank or along the bottom, trying to not get as much, not like trying to fill it up with dirt, but trying to get what might be living in that area. So let me show you first, Michael, before I send you down to do it. This is the spot that kids most commonly fall into the water on accident.
Hey, what are the names of the bugs we're looking at again?
We're looking
for?
For mayflies, dragonflies, caddisflies, all sorts of things. We will identify them once we find them, but we'll see what sorts of things we might find here. So you notice how there's some dead plants along here? This is going to be maybe a good spot to try. So I'm going to reach it out as far as I can, and then just sort of go to the bank and shake it through here to sort of knock off anything that might, I accidentally caught a fish. I got a couple fish in there actually. I accidentally caught a couple fish. So we're gonna take this up to our tray as fast as we can. And we've got some.
Fish.
So I'm gonna turn this tray inside out like this. Then, this is a key detail, you guys. You turn it inside out, and then you just sort of dip all the edges in the clean water so that you sort of clean off this and you don't accidentally squish them or take them with you. And then you can turn it right side out and you can get more. Now, before we get too far, we need to set some methods of how we're doing this. So how many places do you think we should collect bugs from?
A lot.
You said you wanted to do here, maybe 2 spots along the lagoon, and you said you wanted to go to the beaver dam, right?
Yeah.
So if we go to 4 places, uh-oh,
It's gone.
we got a fish on the loose here.
Yeah, it's a fish. It's so adorable.
Fish on the loose. So if we go to 4 places, we need to be able to have time to do all of this. So how many scoops at each place do you think we should take?
2.
We took 1. Just 1 more?
Yeah.
Or we could take 2 scoops each, just in case we realize we don't get something in some place.
Okay.
So I would say 2 scoops per net at 4 locations.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make sure that we remember that for our methods. So we'll wanna write that down. Michael, you've got your net. Go ahead and do it. And then Luca, go ahead and do it. And then Alex, you'll get the second scoop on Michael's. Grab a spoon. And what we're gonna do is we just sort of look through this to find things that look like they're living. And I'm gonna pull out something that doesn't look like it's living just to trick you. So this, I don't know if it actually has a bug in it right now, but this is actually a caddisfly. This is somebody's home. And I'm not sure if there's anybody home or not. But when you see see stuff like all lined up nicely along a tube like this, it's gonna be a caddisfly. Can't tell if there's anybody home in this one. Looks like it's sort of decomposing, so it doesn't look like anybody's home. I don't think we'll be able to count that one. But we're looking for sort of structures like that, or like this too.
So I'll just put it in this one.
Yep. Plus, do you see all these other things in here we can pull out? You see some things that there's so many of them, it might be tough to pull out. We can leave those in and just count them. But these guys, anybody recognize this? We can pull out our notes and compare. I'm gonna hold on to this spoon really quick and I'll get our notes out and you can take a look at the notes really quick. Those guys are nice. Good job, Michael. Yes. So this is not all the time. Some mayflies do have 2, but stoneflies always have 2, and they have a much more complex body system, whereas mayflies most of the time have 3 tails. Occasionally they have 2, but they usually have a body that looks like that. So we are going to count a mayfly, and we're just going to count things by a tally mark since we're going to be finding lots of things. So you can put it in here. And then let's find some more things, because I see more mayflies swimming around in here too.
Oh, cool.
I see a few of them, and I see some different varieties. So that one is like black. What about that one right there? Try and catch it. And try not to smush them when you do. So just sort of scoop with the spoon, but don't treat them like soup.
Yum yum soup.
Look at this guy.
Mayfly soup.
Mayfly soup.
Yummy.
Look at this little guy.
Yeah, they're zooming around.
Zoomers.
What are the
Those ones-
zoomers?
Those ones we might have too many of to count.
He accidentally caught 2 mayflies.
Perfect. So pull out the dichotomous key is where basically you start at the top and you start identifying and sort of answering questions. So like, let's do those circular looking things. So for the circular things, do they have a shell?
Yeah.
So a shell is going to look more like this. So it sort of has a hard
No.
exoskeleton, but no shell. So we go, no shell. Does it have legs?
Yeah.
So no legs is over here, legs is down here. How many legs do you think it has?
Around 6, maybe.
Quite a few?
That's how much a normal bug has. I'll try and look.
I think I have 12.
It's got a lot.
Hmm.
So if it's got more than 10 legs, this is our category here. Is it a crayfish?
No.
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 Oh, that looks like the little one.
That looks like a little one, so you're onto something. So do you remember when you saw the thing that
Wait.
looked like a shrimp?
Yeah,
That's called a scud.
a scud.
A scud, which is right here. And then, do you see the circular things?
I think that's the thing.
It's what we call an aquatic sobug or an isopod.
And are they both underneath the same family of
They're
some
under
sort?
the same section of 10 plus legs.
Okay. Cool.
So you'll notice that on our data sheet that we're taking over here, we do not have those on this because this is just scuds are here under somewhat sensitive. And we're sort of just gonna have to guess on isopods. My guess is based on how often we see them, they probably are in the somewhat sensitive category. So we can add that down here and we'll just write isopod and then we'll do our tallies for that one too.
All right, we're heading onto the Lagoon Trail to go take some water samples to test them.
All right, you guys, so you know the drill on how to do the water quality now. So, although dropping stuff off the back is right.
Lagoon water.
The lagoon water is not quite as clear, right?
Okay, yeah.
All right, so what tool are you using again right here? And how are we testing the water with it?
Michael, what is this? Remember? Is this the Salinity Probe? So if we hold this one straight, remember that this body of water is not connected to the ocean, right? So if we hold this one straight, notice how it's even lower. Like the last one was very low, very little salinity because most of the water was rushing out from the lake anyway. But this one is
Even lower.
0 parts per million, like no salt in here.
Salinity Probe. So this device is turbidity. What does that word mean? What are we looking for when we're using this device?
How many particles are basically in the water?
Okay, cool.
Good answer. I think
And
a lot
there's
of
a
people
little
think it's an
buzz
acronym, but
button.
it's not.
How long do you have to hold that in there?
Until that
Beeps,
decides
decides.
something out.
As soon as it gets a reading somehow.
Yeah, it sort of fluctuates quite a bit, and then as soon as it sort of gets to a place where it's sort of holding at a similar number,
That's when
that's
you know
when
you're...
we know that we're sort of leveling out and at an accurate
This device we're using to get temperature?
reading. Yep, air and water.
Air and water. Okay.
All
Cool.
they have to do is just not touch the silver part when it's plugged in. That one's pretty simple.
Same thing, you hold it in there until the device tells you it has an accurate reading.
Yep, it'll just sort of stop changing at some point.
There we go, 49.2.
If they're eating plants, decomposing plants, and other bugs that are probably eating plants,
Yeah.
we're not going to scoop out in the open water, right? But like, if you look around the base of these cut grass sedges here, that's where you're likely to find things because you've got decomposing grass and grass that's alive. So if you want to just sort of shake them through the base of those, going between, that would be best. Michael, you can even come over here. I've had good success over here near the shallower water. So just, I would keep going a little bit before you call it good. Get through good straight through there.
Here comes our bird group. Did you all find anything exciting?
There was a drake and a hen mallard right back on the corner there. And
Okay.
we saw a hen bufflehead and quite a few other birds. How many we got all together? About 10 or so?
Are you tracking data just like the water group?
Yeah, we're counting all the number of species and then we're figuring out how we identify them.
Okay.
How many? 12 different species so far.
Cool. Are you finding anything different from our last stop or pretty much the same thing?
We found a moth. Or not a moth, a dragonfly.
Right there.
Which one?
I saw a mayfly.
It's nothing like a dragonfly, but it is a dragonfly.
So that is a dragon. What would you call that in what life stage of the dragonfly life cycle?
That's before it
I don't know.
Remember how we have most of, when we did our drawings, remember how we had drawings of adults and then drawings of larvae?
Yeah.
Do you remember what these water ones generally look like?
Nope. No
So
one.
when they're in water, they're generally in larva form.
Okay.
I didn't.
Dragonfly
pay
larva.
attention to them.
Remember when we spent, actually the tube-shaped things often had bugs in them?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have picked this up because he was just getting comfortable. There's a caddisfly living in this tube right here. You see his legs coming out?
Yes.
So usually they're not quite, they don't use quite such, usually they use smaller pieces to build their homes, but he is like
Pulling that thing around.
straight up a log.
Cool.
But that's really cool. An alderfly larva.
You see that on here?
What are you doing, Mike?
All right, so we just did collections at 2 separate sites. We ran into the bird watching group. What's in store for the rest of the day for your field trip?
I think these guys want to take some samples on maybe the other side of this lagoon. This is the Oxbow Lake that's right near Siltcoos Outlet. And then after that, we're going to take a trip down the road. We're going to walk about a half mile and they wanted to collect some samples at a beaver dam that's a little closer to the ocean. So we'll see what that's like. I've been there before when it's too hot out and seen not much there, but I've also seen a lot there at times. So we'll see if we can maybe find some caddisflies or maybe some other dragonflies. We've seen a lot of mayflies today.
Awesome. And then we have 4 groups out in the field, and all of them converge for lunch, and then you all head back in the
We all
afternoon.
eat lunch wherever the heck we want. So we'll probably
Okay.
stop and eat lunch somewhere along the way, and then we'll all meet back here at Wax Myrtle Trailhead when it's time to go at about 1:45.
I am super excited. Please invite me or send me an email when you have all of your poster presentations ready. I'm so excited to see what everyone comes up with for that.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. We'll do that. It'll be next week sometime.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.